Last time on Just Great, I built a town on the back of my airship, raided a woodland mansion with Foxy and Stam, and watched as Stam was ruthlessly shot down by a security bot. 3 times. But today is a big day, as hopefully we're going to complete our flagship, which hasn't got a name yet, by the way, so I'd love to hear your thoughts. But the plan is to make it the ultimate portable storage and workshop, turn it into a train, then fly it off into the mountains, and hopefully escape the rain that just started, ruining my intro. But before I can do any of those things, this boat needs power. We're going to have a whole lot of workshop machines in here, so I'm going to build myself a level 9 boiler, which I'm sure won't cause me any problems at all. So that means we're going to need tanks for a boiler, some steam engines, blaze burners, pumps, pipes, speed controllers, and a whole lot of other stuff. And I know a place we might be able to get all of that in one go. But I'm going to need some diamonds, so let's head to the bank first, and while we're there, we should probably check on the bounties, because overall, we still are quite poor. Wow, looks like the bread factory's going through a huge expansion. Oh, no, I want to keep going that way, but that's a lot more concrete over there. And in fact, over here and down there, it's everywhere. This place is going to be huge. Look, there's Kev. So, bounties, we've got the Wither, Imagination Steve, and Soylent Wasp Herder. And our current balance is 96 diamonds, but I do actually have 4 on me. So yeah, 100 diamonds. I'm not sure if Chosen's actually got an ATM in his mall, which is of course where we're going to be going to buy all the things we need. So I'm just going to withdraw everything I've got there right now. Oh, apparently I still owe some fines. Oh, it's only 2 diamonds, that's fine. Right, let's just withdraw everything I've got and take a look at this. The first annual throw-off. Oh dear. Relish just got himself in a bit of a pickle. What else? That is not clever. I wouldn't do that. I certainly wouldn't do that. Let's have a quick read. In this event, players will build a creative contraption of their wildest imagination with one purpose: to off-throw. 20 diamonds per player. Oh, you can team up as well. Crow's death needs to heavily involve create stuff. Crow will only interact with things exactly as instructed. Keep his input simple. He's dense. So I did actually know this was here. This is where I was standing when we watched Stam get shot by the security bot last episode. But I haven't entered yet, and I would definitely like to. So each player will place the 20 diamonds in the barrel, then grab a piece of paper. Put your name or team name on the paper using the anvil provided. Ooh, do we want to do a team? Maybe. So let's not enter just yet, in case people do want to team up. And there's also another new shop over here. Look at this place. That is incredible. It's a spinning burger. So menu, burgers, 1 diamond for 32 burgies, or a pack of XP, 3 diamond for a ton of nugs. Okay, so we can get burgers and nuggets. Entrance this way. Fix and feast. Oh, fancy door. Oh, jeez. What is that? That is horrific. Poor Rofo. Oh, and they've got an ATM as well. Good to know. So we can get the bags of nugs over here. And the burgies over here. I'll tell you what. Let's promote the economy and get some of these. And I assume they go in here. Yep, look at that. I don't need any experience, though. Ooh, what a lovely shop. With a very scary mascot. Now, something else I'm going to need is kelp. And that is a hard-to-work-out pricing system for my brain. So I'm just going to buy some. Oh, I can't afford it. I need to turn my diamond blocks into diamonds. There we go. So that will come in handy for making our belts. There's a honey shop. I don't think we need anything from there. I think we're doing fine for iron right now. So let's head to the mall. And I'm loving this gondola. It's very cool. Nice way to travel. We're going to end up with a whole load of transport systems on this server. If we've got the gondola, we've got the chain hangy thingy zipline. Dave's putting in loads of trains. I'm putting in a sky rail. And I bet we'll all just fly around with Elytra. For Mall 2.0, this is what we want. So I believe Chosen has automated only small amounts, but all of the create things that we could need, which is going to make it much easier for us to make farms. Oh my days, there's loads over there as well. So we're probably about to spend a whole bunch of diamonds here, because we definitely need tanks for some of that. Don't need any of these bits. Ooh, girders, my beloved, but not right now. Right, how much have we spent so far? 31 diamonds. Okay, cool. We can still keep shopping. So I don't know how much I actually spent in the end. That shopping list was absolutely massive. Look at that ticking up. That's how many diamonds he's made so far? That's crazy. This is all going to drop out of the ceiling. Look at that. And we've got 17 diamonds left, so we could do a little bit more shopping. But as you can see, we've basically just bought a little bit of everything, pretty much. And a lot of vaults. We need a lot of vaults because we're building a storage system on this boat, which is going to be bigger than the one we've got in our little storage tavern warehouse type thing at that sky dock, because this is going to be our main storage, the one we actually carry around with us all season. Hopefully. Look at that. We bought loads of stuff. See what else we might need. Threshold switches, yep. Smart observers, yep. We'll take some of them and some of them as well. Don't think we need a bell or train things. Oh, we are going to need these, actually. Not sure if we'll need them in this episode, but we're definitely going to need them in future. I don't need any blocks, and... Oh, I'm definitely going to need super glue. We've got an entire boat to stick together. That's going to be an absolute nightmare. So just a few more things bought there. Well, I do love this place. Look at that. That clock is awesome. It's a very cool build. I like it. But apart from getting some blaze burners, we should now have everything we need to build a little power station in this boat. And I guess as the workshop's going to be at the back of the boat, the power station probably should be as well. And I wonder if we might actually be able to get it in the hull. Let's worry about that later. For now, let's make some blaze burners. I'm hoping we can actually just grab them out of the mob farm down here that Silence built, which is looking very fancy these days. Look at all this. I mean, they're dying incredibly quickly. I reckon I might be able to do it, though. If I was just to take off that bit of tinted glass, then stand here. Yeah, I can grab the occasional blaze that comes past. Okay, we've got 11 of them. That'll do. Let's block that back up and leave like we never did that. There are so many spawners in there. That is crazy. Now we should have everything we need to make this power station. So let's go down here. And I'm thinking at the back here. In fact, I'm going to remove all these pillars in the middle here. These are going to get in the way. And actually, thanks to the engine here, we've got a perfect 3x3 space. Do you reckon we could just stick a boiler down here? I mean, that could work. There we go. Much more space without those central pillars. Don't worry about the structural integrity with the boat. I'm sure it'll be fine. So let's start with the boiler. Is that going to be enough power, or do we want to go up through the floor as well? Because directly above this is the workshop space. But that'll probably give us enough power to run a workshop, right? But if we were to bust through the floor, it's going to come up here, and it would be that tall. I mean, that's not awful. And that would give us a max level 9 boiler. Although, where are my steam engines? I could have sworn I bought some at Chosen's place. Though no, apparently I didn't. Let's quickly go grab some of those. We're definitely going to need them. And I craft them. So we need blocks of copper, andesite alloy, and golden sheets. We've got gold, we've got plenty of copper, and we could do with a bit more alloy, to be honest. But I believe Azu sells that down in town, so let's just go sort that out. Yep, here it is. Just buy a bunch of that. And we need to flatten some gold. And there we go, 9 steam engines. Let's chuck those on there. Then we're going to attach shafts to those. Put those attached together, and that's where our power's going to come out. So next thing we need to do is pump these full of water. But because we're turning this into a train when we want to move it and then reassembling it again, we're going to need a bunch of dispensers to create infinite water sources, get them linked up to a redstone switch, and then I can flick the lever, collect all the water before I turn it into a train. Otherwise, we're just going to flood everywhere we leave. And that's not good. Let's go make some dispensers. Everyone's favourite thing to craft. Hoping I've just got a bunch of spare bows laying around. Just a couple. And then we'll just make these one at a time. Should be enough. And we're also going to need buckets of water. Now, let me think about this. If we block off this bit, we can make a water reservoir here. Can I put a dispenser there? Yep. And I can stick one there. And one there. Perfect. So that, put a bucket of water into each of those. So that'll make infinite water for us. If we put a pipe there and a cog there. Okay, so that should work for pumping in water. But if it's a full-size boiler, we're probably going to need 2 of these pumps, aren't we? So how about if I actually just mirror that on the other side here? Just like that. And if we're clever about things, what we could probably do is have another dispenser there. Yeah, with a water wheel. And then we could have this water pump as the one that gets water in there to begin with. And maybe powers the mechanical arm that's then going to feed the fuel into it. And then we can link this water pump up to this. So once it actually gets started and gets a bit of power, that will set this one off. And then that should get it up to speed just by pressing a button. So I don't have to come down here and manually restart it. But I'm probably going to want this to go fairly fast, just to make sure there's enough water going in. Oh, and I also need to make space for all the redstone links. So let's say there's going to be one there. Going to need one there for that dispenser. Then, oh, perfect. I can sneak one down the back here for these 2 dispensers. And on this side, we've got a bit more space, so we can just chuck them on top. So let's give these guys a signal. We're going to put a water bucket in the top. Then we need to use a slab of some kind for the bottom, because slabs are the only thing that nobody else on the server will ever put in a link. And that means nobody's going to accidentally trigger my redstone links, and I'm not going to trigger somebody else's. And every server member does have their own personal item for this. Then let's set all of those to receive. And I need to get this connected to this. That's awkward. Oh, actually, maybe not. That was just to get one gearbox. That on top there. Case it with weathered iron. 2 of the chain drives. That should do it, you know. So let's do a little test. If I put that there like that with a button and press it, it is spinning our wheel, which is running the pump. All the water down here is infinite. And I should probably make myself some goggles. I've not made any Create goggles yet. Bit embarrassing. Because I need to be able to read what's going on in there. But hopefully that will give us enough water to actually start pumping. Wait a minute, I've just realised what I've done. Done a terrible job of linking that up to the actual sped up power. Silly beardy. Right, so what I'm actually going to need is a bunch of chain drives going up this way. The shaft, and that vertical gearbox. Yeah, there we go. Now it's pumping water. Oh, and the passive steam has started pumping this. Is that enough to start pumping this water one? I wonder. But first, what we're going to need to do is make sure that this one's going to get sped up. Or in case chain drives and another gearbox. Where did they go? There we go. Then we'll grab that power and send it over here with another gearbox. Wonderful. So that's going to be getting all the water it needs. We just need to feed it with fuel now, and that's where things are going to get a little bit trickier. So for now, let's actually stop this and make sure that everything gets picked up again. So, yep, no water left behind over here, and none over here. Excellent. So that should work. Now, I do need to set up the mechanical arm, so how about we have a depot there? We'll get an arm, and can we get to the ones at the back there? Not very easily, so let's just quickly remove the bottom of the boiler. There we go. So we want to feed all of them with stuff from there. Simple as that. We're going to put a small vault there with a funnel. Just an andesite one, so only one's getting dropped at a time. And then all we've got to do is fill that up with fuel. And there's one fuel type in particular we have fairly easy access to. And that, of course, is wood. Which, of course, isn't particularly useful when it's just wood, but we've got 36,000 jungle wood. This thing overproduced jungle. So if we just take, say, 20,000 of this and go and turn it into coal, that's probably going to keep us going for quite a while. And when it runs out, we'll have loads more jungle wood. Right, now we're going to cook it, but I think we're going to turn that round because otherwise this is going to take absolutely forever. But if we do it like this, we can just launch all this onto the floor. And once that first batch is cooked, I'll turn my magnet on. And then we'll chuck down more. Over 20,000 charcoal. That should keep us going for a while. If we make ourselves an item hatch, I'm actually going to dye a bunch of these. Turn them into a red shipping container. Because I think that'll look a bit nicer than the vault we've got down there at the moment. And we'll put the item hatch there. We'll just dump all our inventory into there. Oh, apparently that vault isn't as big as I thought. I'm going to turn those into vertical vaults. There we go. 20,700 charcoal. That should keep this thing going. So now, if we start this up, and it would help if I actually wired up the mechanical arm here, wouldn't it? So if we do a shaft, a gearbox, and another shaft. It says it's overstressed, but if I just feed one of those, there we go. So I wonder, what I should probably do is actually power this mechanical arm from that water wheel over there. I'll also slow that down a little bit. So if we can keep this mechanical arm and that water separate, then we've got a fully restarting system. Otherwise, as we add machines to it, the system's going to get stressed, and this isn't going to be able to get filled up without me manually putting in even more coal. So let's see if we can negate that problem before it starts. So it might be working enough. I'm not sure yet. Let me go get some goggles. So we're actually getting more than enough water. I feel like if we look at the size of the water and the heat there's like a green line in the middle. So I don't think we actually need the boiler to be as tall as it is, and we'll still get 147,000 SU. Let's see if we can actually do this. So we're still getting 147,000. That's good. What happens if we take out another row? Yeah, we're still getting 147,000 SU. Excellent. So I'm going to get myself a speedometer. In fact, we're going to make 2 of those because then I can turn the second one into a stressometer. And let's just see what this system is doing. So it's running at 256 continually. This is good. And yes, we've got 146,000 SU to play with. That is epic. And if I press this, it should turn the power station off. Yep, there we go. So power has stopped. And then once these run out, they're not going to get refilled because this isn't powered anymore. But if I press the button, it all should come back on. And yep, there we go. We're back up to full speed and full SU. This has actually worked out a lot better than I expected. And it hasn't actually taken up that much space. This is excellent. Next up, storage. I want to put a great big storage system in here. I'm thinking if we do vertical vaults, we've got sort of 3x3 patches here. We'll be able to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 6 in a row there. And then maybe a couple more here. And then same on this side, at least down as far as the stairs. So I reckon we can probably get about 12 or so vaults in here. That would be nice. But once again, we don't want them to look like boring vaults. So I think what I'm actually going to do is go and dye them all black or grey or something. We'll have some nice dark shipping containers, make them vertical, and that's what we'll use as the basis of our storage system. I'm so excited that the boat's finally coming together. Right, that's a whole lot of vertical grey shipping containers. Let's see how many we can fit in below decks. So let's just start by placing one here. And I can't quite make it a full-size one. I can only get it 8 blocks tall instead of 9, but that's close enough. But I'll tell you what, vertical vaults are amazing. So I managed to get 6 on that side. And I'm going to have another one here that's indented. I guess when it comes to loading them up, we've actually got loads of space around the back here, haven't we? So I can get 2 more in there. Squeeze in one more, do you reckon? Then if we mirror that on this side, and I think that's probably about as many as we can get in, which is 14 volts. 2 of them are full size. The rest of them are 8 instead of 9. But that's going to be plenty of storage, I should hope. Now let's think about this. If we have a loading point around here somewhere, we can stretch that all the way to here. Then ideally what we're going to need to do is get that onto a belt that's next to it. So we do this. Just put a little volt there that has an output there and an input there. Then we can hop stuff onto the next track. In fact, if we extend that by another block, that will power this one. We can do the same thing here. Bolts. Funnel going in, funnel coming out. And at this point, I guess what we're going to want to do is actually go across over to here. And we'll worry about the fact that's created an obstacle on the walkway later. Then we can link that belt to there and just do the same thing again. That will get us to the end. We'll just put a blocker. But in theory, that should work. I'm just going to move this belt here ever so slightly. If we move it back a block, then that should give us the space we need for the gearboxes to make sure that the belts are running in the right direction on the sides. And where's my weathered industrial iron? There it is. Right, okay. And we need to do the same thing over here. And now we just need to get it all power. But with the power, I don't want to link it up to the power station because I want to make sure that this can actually run independently. We want to make sure that this thing's running at full speed. So 2 of those running a fan. Will that run at full speed? I don't know. Hopefully. That does mean we need another dispenser. We'll put that in there. Then we're going to need a speed controller set to max. Get that hooked up to here. We're going to put a blocker in there so the water can't escape. Same there. Hopefully that's going to spin both wheels. It is. And that belt's going in the right direction, as is this one. And this one. That one's not. There we go. And now they're all going. Okay, cool. And that will work independently of the power station. So let's load up the dispenser. We'll put a redstone link. This time we're going to use a volt and a slab. Now when we hit that, that should turn on the storage. And hit it again, that should turn it off. Perfect. I guess the last thing to consider is actually loading up the belt. And we're probably going to want to do that from the floor above. What is above here? Okay. That's actually a really good spot. So if we were to do that, then get a couple of double chests with some smart chutes. That means I can load up both of those. But now we need to sort out the collection system. Ideally, we want to be blowing things up a tube. And we'll have a barrel here with a packager. So as long as we send things up that chute, it will unpackage here. And this is where we'll collect stuff from. So let's set up a stock link there. Connect these to it. Now what we need to do is figure out how we're going to get things out of here. So I guess that's going to need to go there. Can't put one here to put onto the same belt because that space there is going to be taken up by a funnel. So maybe I need to go there. So that's those 2 volts. And them ones are easy enough. So all of these can deposit onto one belt in the middle. The ones on this side can't, and the ones on this side can't, however. So let's figure this out. First up, we need a belt over here. In fact, that can't even be there. This one is going to need to be a block further back because we need space for the andesite funnels there and there. Then, oh, I guess these ones are going to need to be offset as well. So let's move that one over. So those 4 can all deposit onto that belt. And once again, I'm going to have to adjust this so that these ones will deposit onto the same belts. We bring that all the way over to here. That's the chute we want to send stuff up. So that's all the stuff from the back sorted. We still need to get these ones working, but I've got an idea. If we just extend these belts out, and speaking of belts, I'm going to need a few more. But we can send all of these onto the same belt there. And the same with that side. So now everything is feeding onto that belt there. Now I need to still power for them, ideally connected to this same system. So let's do a little bit of that. We'll stick in a gearbox. Then we do need to power a fan. So can we do that maybe? Then connect those up. And if we put a fan in there, is that going to blow the right way? Overstressed. Okay. Does that mean I need a third water wheel? Because I really do want this thing running at max speed. It didn't need a third water wheel. It just needed the second one to actually work. I'd blocked off the water one spot too early. Oh, and actually, while I'm back here, what I should probably do, put all the inputs on the back of these vaults, otherwise nothing's going to get into storage whatsoever. That would have been awkward. And items are moving upwards. It is going in the right direction. This is good. Now we just need to jam in a couple of gearboxes and a shaft there. And they're all going the right way. We can encase the belts just to make these look a bit better. Now the last thing we need to do is actually connect these storage vaults up. So we're going to use these controllers that we linked to the stock ticker earlier. Put one on the bottom of every single packager. Excellent. And I think that should be our storage system pretty much complete. We just need one more thing, and that is a shop clerk. But we can't use a living entity because every time we turn this into a contraption and drive off, there's a chance that they could run into a problem. So we're just going to use a blaze burner. So let's load some stuff into storage. Check this guy. It's already in there. Nice and quick. Excellent. And then if we request it, it should come up into this one pretty quickly. Yeah, look at that. Working storage on our boat and working power on our boat. And a hole in the... which means we're almost in a position to start our workshop. But there is still a problem down here, and that is the floor, the lighting, and the fact that we blocked the corridor here with this, and we can't get up to the deck at the top. So let's quickly do a bit of tidying up down here before we move upstairs. And the good thing is we do actually have additional space down here should we need to have any other machines that we can't fit on the top floors. There's just loads of space on this boat, and I love it. And in regards to the controls for these, I think we're going to have a control room upstairs somewhere, place where we'll actually drive the ship, boat, train thing from as well. And we'll move the on-off switches up there, because I think that's going to make much more sense for us. A short while later, and we're looking a lot tidier up in here now. I've added a bunch of clutter into the storage area. I've also kept this bit here open because I think we might need this space to actually put a mechanical crafter because they're quite big and I don't know if we're going to fit them upstairs. But we've also got a display board that's showing us exactly how much power this thing's generating, although it's currently off, so it's just showing what it had when I turned it off. I've used Nixie tubes at the bottom here, which are linked to this vault, which tells us exactly how much charcoal we've got available. I figured that's going to be a good thing to keep an eye on. We have, of course, got a floor in now, so it's all nice and level, and I've got these cool signs on the front of each vault, which tell us exactly how much space we have left, or at least how much we've filled up. And as you can probably tell, I have moved my storage across from the warehouse over into the boat. And the way I've got these signs linked up, I've actually still got one here left to do. So let's grab a couple of display links, click them both on that sign. If we go around the back here, we can stick one on there, tell that to give a percentage of the fill level. We're going to prefix that with fill. Then the second one we're going to have as a progress bar on line 3. Now that is going to continually update this sign over here. So as it gets stuff in it, that will of course change. So these display things are great because it basically just means that we can monitor everything. If we carry on going this way and swing a left, we can now go upstairs. We can get onto this front little deck here. But below that, this is actually where I've decided to put my sleeping quarters, which I know is not the proper place for it. It should be at the back, but I want to use that for my workshop. And we had a space here, so I figured why not just stick a bed down? In fact, I should probably sleep now anyway. And then I've just used a few tripwire hooks to hold things, added a bit of clutter, a couple of the heads that we've collected along the way. And it's just generally a nice area to chill out. So with storage and power all sorted, we're probably ready to start on the workshop. But before we get to that, I've been asking you guys for pictures of your airships so that I can put them in my corridor. And we're going to add the first few today. So down here in our definitely 100% secret corridor, these are the ones we're going to start changing. So this first one is by Beardstone. Look at that, it's got a massive dragon on the front of it. It looks awesome. This next one is from Michael, something like that. Mikhail? I don't really know. But look at that. That's awesome. And I'm loving the cinematic images as well. Those that provide the cinematic images like these are much more likely to end up on the wall because, well, they just look nicer, don't they? This next one is from Mr. Potato. And I love that. It's a very small airship, but it looks awesome. And you may notice I've actually kept them fairly pixelated as well. I think it just works a bit better. This next one is by Jenny Crane. And I've actually been watching this one be developed in the Show Us Your Builds channel over the last couple of weeks. So it's nice to see it flying. Now this next one is an absolute beast. that. Look at the size of that thing. This one is by Mad Dog. Corridor's looking much better. Yeah, I much prefer this. Next up, we have this giant one, which is actually in a land of floating islands as well. Very cool. And this is by Bartolomeo. And the last one for today is this quirky airship from Iron Ghoul. It has a big pole with a giant fan on the front, but it actually looks really cool. So thanks for the submissions so far. We've got the first few in, but as you can see, we've still got more space for further ones. We've also got all the ones out here in the bar that need to be replaced. So do keep your airship photos coming. Now, the other thing I need to do is name the parrots. And somebody has pointed out that if I name the parrot in there, it's going to give away the fact that I have a secret room there because the name's going to show through the wall. So we're actually only going to name this one here. And we're going to call this one Mr. Beardstone because, well, about 30 or 40 people asked for it. And I think that's just a brilliant idea. I don't think I like him up on this perch, though. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to put him on the boat at the back here. I think he just looks better there. Well, I'll tell you what, not seeing his name through the wall, that means I can name the other one. Let's go grab another name tag. And we're going to call this parrot Mr. Beardstone, which about another 20 or so people asked for. Though I do feel like Beardstone should maybe be the one that's in the secret bit, maybe. Oh, actually, no. I suppose Beardstone in the pub, overhearing everything. That makes sense. So you can be Mr. Beardstone. And with that, I'm afraid that's where we're going to have to wrap up today's episode because I'm off to TwitchCon in a few days and I need to get the next episode done as well. Otherwise, you're not going to have any episodes for a whole week and we can't have that now. So I guess we'll crack on with the workshop in the very next episode and then hopefully we'll be able to fly off into the sunset. Then we can build a new port up on a mountaintop, actually build a couple of factories so we can sell some stuff. Oh, it's going to be amazing. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye now.